Hello everyone and welcome back to Sprocket for another video. I'm quite enjoying this game. I don't know if you could tell from the upload schedule being the most consistent it's ever been. But we have a request today for Japanese tank being weird in that way that Japanese tanks are. So there's a lot of ways that I could do this. Japanese tank design is actually, I find it quite interesting. Nothing else was quite like it. You've got anything from the like Hago to the Chihi. The names, sorry, I'm probably not pronouncing right. I think what I'm going to do is go kind of for a more early war kind of design. Now, it's not going to be hugely easy to do because one quite distinctive feature about the early war Japanese tanks is that a lot of them were very asymmetrical. So we're going to try our best to replicate that, but I can't promise anything. Also, this is too wide. For an early war Japanese tank, they are a lot smaller than this. So we're going to start by making it a bit smaller, taking the crew down to 3, because there is absolutely no way we're going to fit 4 crew in here. Also, the armor, we're just going to basically get rid of it for now. There we go. So that should be at least some degree of a tank. We may need to lower the engine size down a little bit just to get as much room as physically possible here. I was going to swap it over to clutch braking because it should use up a little bit less space. Hopefully that's not too bad. Otherwise we will have to give up with that. Tracks, let's make those a little bit narrower. There is no such thing as a wide track for these early war designs that I'm doing a lot of at the moment. So let's do that. Pull those out a bit. And I think we have some degree of a basis for a like a Japanese style tank here. If we just decrease the diameter of these wheels a bit. Yeah, so we've got to get a bit more internal space still. Let's drop this fuel load down quite a bit. Like 350 litres. You're not going to get very far on that, but we'll add some external fuel to make up for it at some point, if I remember. No guarantees, frankly. We'll move that down a bit and change it over to probably one of those, actually. Get the width down as well so it doesn't stick out and increase the diameter a bit. Road wheels. Do I want them a bit bigger, or I feel like smaller is probably more along the lines of what we'd want, and we can just make these a little bit taller, and that should sit quite well on that suspension. Yeah, that does the job quite well. I just kind of want these road wheels to be just a little bit more in the middle there, and same with the return rollers, really. They're not quite how I'd like it. Let's bring those forwards a bit. Maybe actually we can reduce the spacing between them. Yeah, just get a couple more in there and then interlock them with those. Reduce the spacing, perhaps. We want about 1 in between every one of these wheels. I think that'll look best. Yeah, that'll do for some suspension. As for the body, it's got to be a little bit weird. So, first things first, let's take this in like that a little bit and bring this back. Slant this just a little bit more, maybe. And then the rear is going to be quite a challenge, actually, because we're going to have to bring it right across. They liked their rears to be very sloped. And then bring in the glacis here to wrap around it as well. And then ideally I'd actually cut down here, make it flat, but I guess I could do that with some stowages. If I just put that like that kind of looks right. And what I was thinking for the front here is we might be able to use a cupola for here, but it's looking pretty reluctant to go on because I want just like a weird little piece here to shape the tank a bit. Oh, hang on. There we go. That is pretty strange, isn't it? And then we'll just reshape it to look like it's actually a very strange machine gun port, I think. Just because they did like their weird machine guns here. If we do need a little bit more space in the hull here. So perhaps we make the tank just a little longer, a little wider. Because it's just not quite big enough for what we need here. I don't want to drop down to a 2 crew. It does feel right having 3 crew in here, and I don't really know why. Now this turret, I want to set it off to the side a bit. Yeah, look at that. Asymmetrical turrets. Gotta love them. They're so weird. Honestly, they didn't even have all that much turret ring on them, so that's probably not even that far off. Move the forward offset a bit more. And you see, the thing I'm not happy with now is that this here isn't flat, and it doesn't, like, stick up a bit. If I raise this any, that would be a little bit better. Can I do that? I can't remember. Feels like I'm gonna have to raise the whole thing, but then the fenders come with it, which I don't want. Strip, top, bottom. No, not quite what I'm looking for. Oh, we'll angle that in a bit more. Let's put a driver's port on. Actually, hang on. That could be the machine gun there, and then we could turn this into the driver's port. Ooh. And maybe the driver could be the commander as well, which is really weird. But I kind of like the idea that it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Just a bit of a silly design. Now, I can't have an asymmetrical turret very easily, which is something I would quite like. So I also want to do something there with perhaps stowages, where maybe if I level off the rear of this turret here, bring that up, can I just have something really strange sticking off one side and then like a machine gun on the back? Oh, it's just too big. That's the problem there. Maybe if I had another cupola? That looks about right. That does look about right, to be fair. And it wants one of these rings, definitely. One of these, like, antenna rings. Perhaps on the back instead. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of liking where it's going in a weird kind of way. Get the full basket going. That looks so strange. With a little tiny gun mantlet as well. Like probably one of these square ones. We'll also put that to one side, just in such a strange way. Oh wow! Look at that gun depression. Whoa, that's pretty nice actually, and it's not even that hard to believe that would be possible. Wow. Okay, I'm quite impressed with that. Let's ruin it though by changing the caliber, because I want to put a 47mm in here. I could put a 37, but I think that's just a little too short for my liking. Oh god, that's the caliber. I want the length. There we go. There's a little bit more of a gun. And I mean, I don't think a muzzle brake would be on a tank this early. Gunner's sight. I mean, that's way off. It's going to make aiming quite difficult. I'm making my own job more difficult, is what I'm doing here. But there you go. All in the interest of fairness, obviously. I've got to balance myself out against the enemies. Otherwise, I'm just too good. It's a factual statement, everyone. Exhausts. Yes, please. Weird ones like that. More stowages. Can we have some baskets on the side? In fact, could I bring those over the exhausts a bit? I can. Engine vents. Can we get just a fatty vent on the back there? Looks all kinds of weird, doesn't it? It's too wide on the hull for sure. It's definitely something I'm noticing. Bring that forward a bit more, maybe. These baskets do look a little weird when you do that. I'll move it further back. Turret will just move back as well. Just a tiny little bit, which I think I'm surprised it's not hurt the depression. That doesn't make any sense anymore. I'd say that is about your realistic maximum. But you know what? If it wants to give us 20 degrees, we'll take 20 degrees. Let's not complain. Not like a gift horse in the mouse. Mouse? Mouth. No, we're not building the mouse in Sprocket just yet. Maybe later. Also, I'm sure somebody else has already done that way better than I could. So perhaps I'm not the man for the job. Perhaps that is in order, and then we can put a couple of these at the back. It gives us an extra 90 litres of fuel. It's not a crazy amount. There we go, that's 120. But you know what? I think we need it for it to be more realistic feeling. And then, in terms of paint, you wouldn't really see these in a desert paint, would you? Like ever, but I think one of these is probably what they would have used. It feels right, at least. We drop the saturation down a bit. How much penetration do we have on this cannon? Not a lot, frankly. Okay, let's up that a bit. There we go, 60mm. I think we'll be good with that, actually. And that brings the depression down to a more realistic 13.8 degrees rather than 20 degrees, which was a little bit ridiculous, if you ask me. So, yeah, elevation rate is not quick, frankly. And the turret traverse is... that feels almost too quick. I feel like we should get rid of the powered traverse, just because that is quite fast, and these things would not realistically have powered traverse at this time, I don't think. So I think we're pretty good. It's a sub 10-ton tank at the moment. Perhaps we can add a little bit more armor on the front of the turret here. Well, maybe we go up to 35mm, which I know that is pretty astounding for this tank. You never thought I'd be putting armor on a tank. And then the front upper as well. You know what? I'm feeling crazy. Oh, why's that gone up to 100mm of armor? That's a bit much. Let's get this upper front to 40mm of armor. Whoa, that's crazy. Oh, whoops, that's not right. Supposed to put the turret front to 40. And then you're fairly well protected on the upper front plate. which is useful if you get shot. So the Mark 13. We're going to name it after the man who made the request. We're going to name it the Mark 13 Jimmy C. Oh yeah. Thank you, Jimmy C. Oh, can't put apostrophes in there. I think this looks alright as tanks go. It's not the most beautiful tank in the world, and here's hoping it's more effective than it looks. So, we will take on the June scenario once more. In the Mark 13, Jimmy C. Here we go. Wonder what we're going to be up against this time. Last time we were up against Bennett's. Previous time we were up against something like the Mark 4s or whatever they were called. No, that was my tank. Model somethings? Can't remember. But we've so far been rather successful in our endeavours throughout these June scenarios. We haven't had a failure yet. However, the Mark 9 was a bit close for comfort. Oh, it's the Bennetts again, and they've taken out one of the Jimmy C's already. This is a heartbreak. Now, one's going to crest that hill over there. I can feel it. So let's just pre-aim. Oh, God. Oh, Nelly. They are getting a little worryingly close, aren't they? I don't know if range is even my friend here. Oh, wow. One of the AI Mark 13s has already killed a Bennett. That's good. Ooh, and there goes another Mark 13. Aim it up, aim it up. Come on. Let's get him down if we can. Oh, I got him, I think. Yeah, I think that's killed him. Yeah, gun seems alright. That wasn't too shoddy. Slightly concerned by the number of Bennetts around me. Can we get the gun raised? Can we get the gun raised? Oh, lads, come on. Put that gun up. Put that gun up. There's not a lot of talk in this one. Oh, it's right through. It's quite a good gun, actually. I'm surprised. Okay, one's coming up behind me. Don't want to end up like the Mark 9 in the last video. He's going to have trouble aiming too. There goes his transmission, hopefully. Can we go through the front plate? I don't know if that went through, but he's still aiming at me. Okay, he's definitely dead now. Oh, that's an anti-tank. Oh, that's bad. Don't want one of them aiming at you, ideally. Okay, let's see if we can get the sneak up on him, because he's facing his side to us right now. That's immobilized it, and that's taken it out. Fantastic. Forwards, we are going to be in danger here. I think that one looks pretty dead. Not entirely sure, but hopefully that's one of ours over there. We have been shot. From what, though? It's not you. It's not you. Could be you. Actually, I think that's one of mine. Ooh. Oh. It is you. Oh, yes, sod. Come here. Oh, God. I got some problems. There's some crew damage going on here. You're still alive. Trying to mend that one. Okay, he's dead. The crew of this tank have seen better days, but they're still kicking, so the battle is not over. Engine's over-revving like crazy there. I don't know if that's because of the transmission damage. Don't want to blow up the engine by over-revving. That would be quite embarrassing. They're all dead, I think. Are you dead? You're dead. Otherwise he'd be aiming at me. There's one over there, I know for sure, but he's quite far away, so I doubt he'd get an accurate shot first time. See if we can get the gun raised. Looks like one of the anti-tank guns. Don't know if I'll pen it from the front, but we'll give it a go. Bit high. Looks like it was a bit low, actually. Oh, there we go. He's dead. Wow. Okay. Perhaps the most effective tank so far. Also, didn't notice that these seem to reflect onto the ground. That is strange, isn't it? Okay, well, the success goes to the Mark 13. Possibly the best one I've made so far. Definitely very mobile. And I'm quite happy with it. I am having problems with my hearing, though. So I'm going to leave it here. And we're not going to do any more scenarios. And please leave a like, favorite, and or subscribe. And I will see you in the future. Goodbye.